Okay, Chapter 8 Rainy Monday. My train arrived in Munich refreshed from the pouring rain through the night. I noticed an international tourism phenomenon at the Munich train station, something not yet common in the United States, i.e., tourism brochures in a wide array of languages, including Chinese traditional, a sign of heavy tourist volume from Taiwan. I slung my backpack over my 1950s Austrian camouflage smock and headed out in the downpour. It was barely 7 o'clock in the morning, but the nearby McDonald's was already open for business. Wet and hungry, I opted for American comfort food. Rather than serving the traditional breakfast menu, McDonald's in Germany started the day with Big Macs, cheeseburger, and etc., in addition to milkshakes, orange juice, and coffee. This German McDonald's also served beer. Realizing that all art museums were closed on Mondays, I asked the local tourism office at the Munich Olympic Stadium for directions to the Dachau concentration camp and was told that there's nothing to see in Dachau by the seemingly bitter clerk. After my relentless pleas, the representative grudgingly provided me with a bus number to Dachau. I boarded the city bus to the notorious town some 20 kilometers northwest of Munich in the upper Bavaria. People on the bus stared at me uneasily. Hello, where are you from? An English speaking passenger on the bus asked. The United States, I replied, figuring the bloke wanted to chat. Haha, I thought so. The passenger continued. You Americans like camouflage clothing. It's what you call cool, yes? I suppose. The jacket was simply comfortable and waterproof. These people on the bus are staring at you because your jacket looks very much like the Waffen SS camouflage. The good natured writer made me aware of my fashion faux pas. Wow, really? I thought perhaps they don't often see Asians in this part of the world, especially one with cowboy boots and mullet. Haha, yeah, that is also very possible, the observant passenger laughed. The bus arrived at Dachau in less than an hour. I jumped off the bus with my satchel in tow, ready to capture the gruesome episode of history with my watercolors, only to realize that, like art museums, Dachau was also closed on Mondays. Gotta hate Mondays. The mean-spirited tourist information clerk in Munich could have warned me and saved me a trip, but then where else would I have gone on a miserable Monday to kill time until my overnight train to Berlin? The light drizzle turned into marble-sized raindrops. Drenched, I waited for the bus that would take me back to the Munich Marienplatz station. For hours, I strolled along the stores as if I were a tourist with money to shop. Beer steins, Solinka knives, among other Bavarian souvenirs, embellished the rain-smeared storefronts. The usually bustling cobblestone streets was reduced to a slippery rocky path with a handful of dreary backpackers. Frugality eventually gave way to boredom, and I splurged 10 German marks on the train station theater. Not comprehending the language nor the plot, I napped for about 2 hours in the smoky theater, but anything was better than wandering aimlessly on a rainy Monday. It was miserable. With what remained of my daily budget, I procured a sausage sandwich and enjoyed my dinner before taking an overnight train to Berlin. I woke to views of rapidly moving gray walls by the train track. The train came to a halt just past dawn. Since it wasn't scheduled to depart for several more hours, the train attendant let passengers take their time to use the onboard facilities before they disembarked. I took advantage of the WC on the train and washed away any remnants of my gloomy Monday. I also swapped out my wet clothes and soggy cowboy boots for a lighter polo shirt, shorts, and boat shoes in preparation for extensive walking on this sunny Tuesday. The Johnny tour guide in me mapped out the day's itinerary at the Berlin Bahnhof while enjoying a sausage sandwich and coffee breakfast. Berlin streets were built to accommodate military parades of tank columns, in addition to thousands of troops. These long and wide boulevards resemble the ones in Las Vegas, less than neon lights. Having mistaken Tiergarten, a city park, for the Zoologische Garten Berlin, the Berlin Zoo, I wasted an hour between Budapeststraße and Hauptjager Alley. Hot and tired, I bypassed Bauhaus Archive, Museum of Bauhaus Design and Art History, and headed directly to Checkpoint Charlie. The art student in me was guilt-ridden for not visiting the famed Bauhaus Museum, but as a traveler, I was eager to experience the iconic Berlin crossing. The highly detailed German U-Bahn S-Bahn map guided me from Kurfürstendamm to Monstranstrasse via the U-Bahn underground rail, where I came upon several military installations. Recognizing the U.S. Army police uniform with a distinctive white helmet with black MP tape, I approached my beloved American soldiers excitedly. "Excuse me, can you tell me where Checkpoint Charlie is?" I asked one of the MPs. "You're looking at it, young man," a female MP proclaimed with the sweetest smile. "Oh, and you may want to start with the museum right there." The helpful MPs pointed to a makeshift exhibit shack to the side of the checkpoint. "Thank you so much." I soon immersed myself in the photographic exhibits in the museum. Pictures of the construction of the wall, in addition to those of East German attempting to escape. The most impressionable picture from the exhibit was an East German border guard lifting a section of the barbed wire with a little boy on the other side of the fence. The fear in the border guard's eyes was evident. After the exhibit, I made my way down the Checkpoint Charlie station and caught a 5-minute underground train ride to Friedrichstraße for the border crossing into East Berlin. Not familiar with the procedures, I followed a crowd of West Berliners toward what appeared to be the East German customs. East Berliners, West Berliners, and others. The border crossing zone gave very clear instructions via large signs in English and German. Clearly, I was in others. The East German customs require a minimum exchange of 35 West German marks for 35 East German marks at the exchange rate of 1 to 1 at the point of entry, which is purely a political gesture against the official exchange rate of 3 East German marks to 1 West German mark. The East German customs officer thumbed through my passport, gave me a speculative glance, and asked, "What is your purpose of visiting the DDR?" "I'm a student, sir." Without any hesitation, the East German officer accepted my 35 West German marks for 35 East German marks and waved me through. The Deutsche Demokratische Republik, or German Democratic Republic, was the first communist country I had ever visited. Anticipating secret agents telling me or having problems with border crossing due to my U.S. passport, I found the most challenging situation in East Berlin was finding a seat in a restaurant. No joke. Not entirely accustomed to visitors from the West, East German waitstaff typically spoke only German, and rightfully so, for I was in their country. "Eine Person bitte." I held up one finger to indicate to the waiter that I was dining alone. "Moment bitte." The waiter signaled for me to wait while he scoured the dining room for availability. Minutes later, the waiter came back, and I followed him to a long farm table, at which he motioned for me to take the last open seat at the end. And I thought I was being shown to a table for one. Without the full command of the German language, I pointed to the alien menu as Bruce Lee did in the Italian menu in the 1973 movie Enter the Dragon, where he ended up with 5 bowls of soup. I was lucky. I only ended up with 1 bowl. Like waiters in West Germany, the East German waiter collected my meal ticket and I paid him on the spot. So the table for one, I reckon, was a capitalist concept. Moments after I departed the restaurant, a man who claimed to be an American approached me and asked if I would exchange $100 with him. "You're an American, right?" the man in his mid-30s asked. Yes, I was suspicious of the authenticity of the man's Americanism. With his blonde hair combed to the side, the man spoke fluent English, but his demeanor was a bit odd. In fact, with his wire-framed spectacles, this man reminded me of my freshman year draft-dodging political science instructor back at DU. "What do you want to buy? I can buy for you at a much cheaper price," the man continued to tell me. I thought these friendship stores are all the same. Are they all government run? I questioned the man. Yes, they are. Or can you at least buy something from me from the store? Friendship stores, same as ones I would later encounter in China, were off limits to the local population. Items sold inside friendship stores were often not available to general public, which reminded me of my mother's privilege to be able to shop at the PX when we live in Taiwan. If you're an American, why can't you go in there yourself? I live here too long. I picked up my pace and quickly entered the friendship store for cover. While I browsed in the store, a man with a German accent approached me and congratulated me for not falling for the secret police. What would the secret police want from me? I was puzzled. They entice foreigners to break the law, arrest them, and release them after a fine is paid, the German man explained. Well, thank goodness I didn't have 100 US dollars to exchange anyway. Poverty had its advantage at times. The friendship store did not yield any interesting souvenirs, but a photo of me in white polo shirt, shorts, and boat shoes with a perm mullet standing next to a solemn East German guard on the steps of the Neuwacht, the Unknown Soldiers Memorial at Unter den Linden, would become a treasured memento for my short trip to East Berlin. Enriched by the day's exploits, I took the U-Bahn back to West Berlin, arriving at the famed Brandenburg Gate as the sun gradually painted the sky orange. I snapped a picture of this proud historical moment that towered over the Berlin Wall with the setting sun in the background. A perfect ending to my first brush with communism. That was pretty fun. And you know what? This is the Austrian jacket. That the one they thought was very similar to the World War II Waffen SS pattern. This is what I wore.